Jackie, and good evening to all viewers and listeners to the program for tonight. I trust that all that we say to you will be very informative and will be giving directions as we go through the month of March. 1 week ago today, Tuesday, March 8th, St. Kitts and Nevis joined with the international community to celebrate International Women's Day. As Minister of Gender Affairs, I greeted all women on that date under the theme, Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow. Of course, there was a sub-theme, #Break the Bias. And so I pause at this point to shout out, to acknowledge, to honor two women who will be 100 years this month. In fact, there is Miss Angeline Rivan Matthew. She will celebrate next Thursday, 24th March, 100 years at the church in Sandy Point. And then, of course, we have Miss Esther Harris of St. Peter's. She will celebrate 100 years on Friday, 25th March, which is next Friday. I should also celebrate with my own daughter who is having a birthday today. I hope she's listening. The theme which I used last Tuesday, Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow, needs to be explained a bit, because Sustainable Development Goal number 5 declares that gender equality is not only a fundamental human right, but a necessary foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. Gender equality refers to responsibilities and opportunities of males and females, irrespective of their sex. Our national statistics indicate that more than 50% of all households are headed by single mothers. This group faces multiple and interesting forms of discrimination and greater vulnerability, particularly the most socially and economically oppressed, including women living with disabilities. St. Kitts and Nevis, of course, is located in one of the most vulnerable regions of the world. High exposure to natural hazards, the consequence of which severely affects our economy and pose threats to the sustainability of economic growth. And of course, those natural disasters, which as a result of climate change and as a result of all of those hurricanes, do not indicate any gender neutrality. It affects males and females differently. And those gender inequalities, women's vulnerability and disadvantages have been exposed following the effects of COVID-19 pandemic. And of course, we saw the increase in the rates of domestic violence, and we saw the disproportionate burden of unpaid domestic work and care responsibilities. Later this evening, we probably will go into how the Social Security and other institutions like those responded. The Ministry of Social Development, however, and the Gender Affairs and its International Day Awards ceremony was held Tuesday as well, and we honored 6 women for significant contributions in the area of science, digital, blue and green economies, and COVID-19 response and recovery. Those 6 women are Dr. Marissa Grant Tate, Tessa Wyatt, Danielle Taylor Williams, Tricia Greer King, Miss Kerry Tuckett, and I think I missed one. Well, those 6 women. They were awarded last week for their contributions in the fields that I just stated. And this week, in fact yesterday, commenced an important session, an international session held by the United Nations. That session is held every year, and this year will continue until the 25th. Our own embassy our mission in Sinkis and Nevis to the United Nations is gearing up to make a presentation during these few days. And it is expected that we will indicate to the session how, for example, the scaling up of the poverty alleviation program with $6.1 million spent assisted during the period of pandemic, of how 1,056 additional persons added to the program since the onset of the pandemic, of which 65% were women, how 3,050 new applicants were approved for the income support program, and approximately $8 million paid to beneficiaries. In addition, 157 families benefited from 390,500 distribution of disability support programs. A myriad of support programs were offered by our government, and it is expected that during the session, which ends on the 25th, that we will at least give to the world the program of our own government that assisted women during that period. Later this month, it will be on the 22nd, there will be an induction, if you will, into the St. Kitts International Women's Day induction of 8 women into the St. Kitts Pioneering Women's Exhibit. These women are Tricia King-Grio, who also got awarded last Tuesday, Dr. Doris Stapleton Harris, Vashti Phillip, Diane Dunwood Francis, Patricia Walters, Louise Clark, Mrs. Giselle Matthews, and Cheryl Bass. It is our demonstration to those who have made contributions in their various fields, and they will be inducted into that program on the 22nd. I will pause, but I propose that there will be quite a few issues that will be covered, and I will allow my other colleagues to make the opening statement.